I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all about parenting. I'm the creator of a parenting program called Teaching Self-Government, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to deal with kids with attitude. I've got 4 things I'm going to share with you today for how you can help a kid get over their attitude problems. But first, let's talk a little bit about that attitude. An attitude problem is actually a type of communication called passive-aggressive communication. Passive-aggressive communication is the type of communication that a person does when they recognize that being fully aggressive, like yelling and stomping and getting physical, is actually not socially acceptable. So really, a passive-aggressive person still has a really aggressive heart. And that's what you're dealing with. Do they know that that's what they're dealing with? It's super important for your children to understand the different types of communication. In fact, I have other videos on this channel about passive aggressiveness and different types of communication that could absolutely help with understanding what types of communication they might choose instead of being passive aggressive. Now, just to let you know what the answer is, they should choose to be assertive. So in our family, I taught my children and all of my treatment foster children that were all teenagers between the ages of 12 and 18 that attitude problems were not okay, that this type of communication was a manipulation and it was a passive-aggressive communication. So what they needed to do is they needed to be assertive. They needed to know the skills for solving their problems so that they wouldn't have to manipulate me or anybody else. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the different points that I have for you today. There are 4 skills that a child needs in order to conquer an attitude problem. These 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. These are 4 of the 4 basic skills of self-government. There are other skills I teach to parents and stuff like that in my parenting course, but every person, children and parents alike, have to have a mastery of these 4 basic skills in order to learn any of the other skills of self-government and to be able to improve in that empowering, self-controlling type of a way. So let's talk about these 4 skills. When a person learns to follow instructions, there are 5 steps to following an instruction. The second step of that skill set is to keep a calm face, voice, and body. In fact, the first 2 steps of every one of the 4 basic skills are to look at the person, which shows respect, establishes a connection, has the ability to exchange a feeling of like love to the other person when you're looking in their eyes. This is very, very good for change of heart to occur. Step number 2 is keeping a calm face, voice, and body. So every one of the 4 basic skills begins with those 2 steps. Now they differ after that, but that second step for how to keep a calm face, voice, and body, this is vital. Does your child understand calmness? So the first thing we want to make sure we teach our children is we want to teach them the skills they need for success. Do they know how to disagree appropriately? Do they know how to accept consequences? Are they aware that they are able to accept no answers calmly and follow instructions calmly? If not, then for sure they're probably going to enjoy and love the skill disagreeing appropriately. So make sure that you teach that skill right at the beginning. But like I said, with all of these skills, a key thing is calmness. So that's the second point that I want to bring up today. Do your children truly understand calmness? Do they understand a calm body? Do they understand a calm face and voice? Do they understand skills for how to get themselves calm when they are not calm? If they don't, then they might need some help with that. So I want to help you find that power that comes with calmness. In fact, just for watching this video, I am going to give you a free Calm Parenting Toolkit, and I'm going to tell you at the very end of this video how you can get it. But first, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because there are videos like this and many other full-length classes and stuff that come out every single day, and you are not going to want to miss those. Speaking of calmness, point 3 is you can't have an attitude problem yourself. Now be very honest with yourself. When they start getting an attitude problem, do you also have an attitude problem? This is very common. In fact, parents do it all the time. I remember there was one time in my life where I was saying to my daughter, Paige, you have an attitude problem. And she said, well, so do you. And I was like, oh, she's right. I have an attitude problem right now. So I was so grateful that she brought that to my attention. And I said, you're right. I do have an attitude problem. We need to both communicate with our skills that we already know and choose not to have the attitude problems. Let's start this over again. In fact, that's a very self-government thing to do, to decide to just redo your interaction the right way so that you can practice doing it the way you want to do it in the future. Whenever you can catch yourself and start over, you are self-governing, which is super powerful. So analyze yourself. Do you need more calmness? Do you need words to say that won't lead you to an attitude problem? Then be sure to get the help that you need and learn the skills that you need. I can definitely help with that. It's vital that we praise them when they're communicating in a good way and we correct them when they're not. So tip number 4 is the feedback. We've got to give the children feedback for their behaviors and their condition of heart. When a person has self-government, they have a change of heart. Before they choose to do that on their own, it's up to the parents to teach them how to modify their behavior and how to have that change of tone and change of heart in those moments that are happening each day while they're still developing. So do a correction. Now, corrections do not need to be mean or angry. In fact, the very best corrections are understanding, loving, but very firm and consistent. Many parents struggle with consistency, so you're going to want to have key words that you can say to maintain your consistency. In fact, it's usually a good idea to create a script for yourself. And if you don't know the best scripts to keep yourself calm, well, I do, and I can absolutely help you with that as well. The biggest thing about corrections is it needs to happen every time. It needs to be done with a tone of calmness and love, and the children need to be able to see as part of that correction what they should have done so that they cannot repeat the same mistake in the future. A good correction should not be reactive, but very proactive, more like a teaching moment, but definitely something that teaches them cause and effect as well. Remember, I made a promise earlier that I was going to help you get my Calm Parenting Toolkit for free? Well, here you go. In the description of this video, there is a link to the Calm Parenting Toolkit. If you click on that link, it will take you to a certain place on my website. And when you're there, you just have to put in your email and we will send you a login to the Calm Parenting Toolkit, which is a course. It's a full course for you with multiple modules and classes that you can use to help yourself and your family get on the road to calmness so that you don't have to deal with the attitudes from them or yourself anymore.